Case. What is the teacher's behavior? Society to discriminate करती है on the basis of caste. I don't have time. I had two other videos which I am not showing you because of time. But now you see that how the teacher is reacting. We go to the video and then we come back to this slide. Let's do the video. So it's this one. Next. Yeah.
Dalit children from a government school in Falodi sitting in protest outside the collector's office in Jodhpur. Children say after their classmate was beaten last week by an upper caste class teacher for touching a non-Dalit's plate during the midday meal, they are now too scared to go to school.
हमारे विद्यालय में थालियाँ लगे और छुआछूत होता है बहुत, हमारे को पानी ऊपर से पिलाते हैं और हमारे को साथ मारपीट की इसके साथ मारपीट की।
The child's father Mala Ram says he too was beaten by the school teacher when he went to protest. After being treated in a Jodhpur hospital, the father and son were discharged and returned to their village where they say they still live in fear.
Now, what do you think about the role of the teacher? So, society has all this discrimination already. But there are all these questions. Please answer any question you think. Can you read them? What is the role of the teacher in the marginalization of students? How did you think this teacher was right? What do you think about the teacher's actions? Please tell me.
बताइए। अब टीचर सही नहीं थे, लेकिन उनको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था, उनको इनफैक्ट इंक्लूड करना चाहिए था उस दलित स्टूडेंट को। वो बच्चों के साथ इनफैक्ट बैठ के खा सकते थे।
Exactly. That is going to be my next question. What should he have done in order to remove that bias which may be existing in other teachers' minds also and in other children's minds? Because in the previous video which you saw about gender, it said that teachers are the ones who can build that attitude amongst the children and remove the bias. So one good suggestion is that the teacher could himself or herself sit with the students and eat. What else could the teacher have done?
From this side, yeah, Diksha.
मैम फर्स्टली टीचर्स को पहले हमें खुद अवेयर होना होगा उन सारी चीज़ों से, जो एक हमें क्लासरूम में अपने देखना है कि हमारा जो भी मतलब डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रहा है दलित उसमें, तो उस तरीके से अगर हम देखेंगे तो टीचर्स को पहले हमें अवेयर, जैसे कि अभी हम लोग भी एक टीचर इसमें फील्ड में जाने वाले, तो हम लोग को जैसे आप यहाँ पे सारी चीज़ें हो रही जिससे हम भी अवेयर हो रहे हैं, तो अगर हम जाएंगे क्लास में तो हम ऐसी चीज़ों को नहीं करेंगे और एक एक्शन लेंगे उसके बाद। लेकिन जो हमारे पहले जो टीचर्स थे वो ऐसा नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी उन सारी चीज़ों को देखते हुए ही बड़े हुए थे और एक तरीके से वो आए इस फील्ड में, तो वो ऐसा उनके साथ हम नहीं सोच सकते थे कि वो ऐसा करेंगे।
No, but they can learn. After all, society keeps changing. अगर मैं 1950 में पैदा हुई हूँ तो मैं I cannot live my life कि बस वो ही चलता जाएगा जो मैंने देखा है in my growing up years in the 60s and 70s. Not like that. Now society is so different. So we have to also, we should not excuse those teachers कि वो बूढ़े हैं या उन्होंने दूसरी कल्चर देखी, नहीं, उनको भी उनमें बदलाव आना चाहिए। जिस तरह से सोसाइटी चेंज हो रही है, there is much more acceptability. You have to also learn and you have to make a difference. आपको बदलाव लाना भी है, अगर हो भी नहीं रहा है, very good.
सेंस एंड सेंसिटिविटी वो सारी चीज़ें भी हमारे अंदर डेवलप
Exactly.
एंड देन उसके
Let's go to the
बाद
next. So this is now about tribal children and Adivasi children in education, that there are often very poor infrastructure in the schools, you can read, and there is also absence of teachers in such schools which leads to no education being taught for long periods of time, no classes being held. So next you can understand their situation, right? Schooling experiences, language and culture does not find a place. Then they are found to be punished for not speaking in the language in which teaching is taking place, because they speak in their home language, and that their manner of teaching or speaking is labelled as uncultured, backward, and this is often how they perform in school is linked to their background. कि वैसे ही हैं तो ऐसे ही उनका परफॉर्मेंस है. You again get what you talked about, building sensitivity is so important. So there is this young Adivasi scholar who is now, how she says, I became educated for a new Adivasi future and to help the world remember our Adivasi present. She is working for Adivasi culture and for the education of Adivasi children. And there is one brief next video which we should see. It's a tribal school for tribal children. It's a residential school. We'll quickly look at it just so that you can see the sense of responsibility they have.
নমস্কার, আমার নাম রামপ্রকাশ সরেন। আমি এই স্কুলে লিডার এবং প্রথম শুরু করেছি। আমাদের অযোধ্যা পাহাড় যতগুলো স্কুল আছে তার থেকে আমরা সর্বনিম্ন ফিজে, এখানে কোনো ইনকাম সোর্স বলে কিছু নেই এবং এটা সমস্ত সব দিক থেকে একটা রিমোট এরিয়া। এটার মূল উদ্দেশ্য রয়েছে এখানে শিক্ষা, গুণগত শিক্ষার সাথে আদিবাসী সংস্কৃতি এবং আদিবাসী সাঁওতালি ভাষার চর্চা সমস্ত এরিয়াতে, আদিবাসী এরিয়াতেও ও সরকারিভাবে সেরকম উদ্যোগ নেই। আমরা মনে করছি আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েরা বেশিরভাগ ওই ভাষার না জানার জন্য আমরা পিছিয়ে যাচ্ছি। পণ্ডিত রঘুনাথ মুর্মু, তিলকা মুর্মু, সিধু কানু, ওনাদের যে আদর্শ, ওনাদের যে লক্ষ্য এবং আমাদের আদিবাসীর যে ভাবনা, আদিবাসীর যে ট্রেডিশন, আদিবাসীর যে লক্ষ্য, আদিবাসীর যে চিন্তাধারা, এটা আমরা আমাদের বাচ্চাদের মধ্যে সেটা আমরা মানে প্রকাশ করে থাকি। প্রাকৃতিক জিনিসটাকে আমরা পূজা করি এবং প্রকৃতিটাকে বাঁচিয়ে রাখতে হবে, এটা কিন্তু চর্চা। আমাদের ধর্মের, আদিবাসী ধর্ম যে সনাতন ধর্ম আছে সেটা এখানে বিভিন্ন চাঁদা আমাদের শিক্ষা করা হয়। এনাদেরকে এখানে উপাসনা করা হয়। বাচ্চাদের ওই ভাবধারা আদিবাসী যে এই প্রাকৃতিক ব্যাপারটা এখানে জড়িয়ে আছে।
নাম সমাজসেবা দাস, এটা আমি এঁকেছি। একটা বড় বাংলা মানুষ।
নমস্কার, আমি মোহাম্মদ নুরম, গ্রাম সোনাহারা। আমি বঙ্গালী চন্দ্র বিদ্যালয়ের প্রধান শিক্ষক। আমাদের এই বিদ্যালয়ের মূল উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে শিক্ষার পরিকল্পনাটাকে শক্তিশালী করে গড়ে তোলা। তার সাথে সাথে আনুষঙ্গিক যে সমস্ত বিষয়গুলো রয়েছে সেগুলোকে দমন করা। যেমন তার মধ্যে একটা রয়েছে কুসংস্কার।
আমার নাম ইপিটি স্কুল। আমার বয়স 8 বছর। চন্দন ফিল্ডার রেঞ্জার।
So actually such a school did not have existed. Why have they made this school, the community? हाँ? क्यों बनाया ऐसा अलग हटके एक स्कूल सिर्फ ट्राइबल बच्चों के लिए? Why have they made it?
बोलो बोलो। मैम, इस वीडियो के अनुसार उन्होंने बोला कि वो प्रकृति को बचाए रखना चाहते हैं, अपनी भाषा, क्योंकि उनकी जो नेटिव लैंग्वेज है बंगाली और संथाली, तो इस वजह से वो जो ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज में जो पढ़ाई होती है उससे वो हट रहे हैं।
Yes, you are right. both these points are good. But what is the reason that they want to, what is the reason behind it? They want to preserve their culture, no doubt. They worship nature, they want to see that the children learn like that. But why separately? Why are they doing it separately? अलग से हट के क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हमने उनको एक्सक्लूड किया है ना फ्रॉम द एजुकेशनल प्रोसेस. हमने मेन स्ट्रीम करने की कोशिश करी है कि हमारे जैसे बन जाएं. Why is it that in our schools we do not have space for their language, their culture?
They are not getting equal opportunities.
They are not having that the love for nature or the worship that should be part of every school. It should not be only in आदिवासी community. हम उनको अगर include करते हैं उनको ये ज़रूरत ही नहीं होती कि अपना अलग से स्कूल खोलें. That ज़रूरत has come about because that's become a necessity because of this problem of exclusion. So I think we have to realize that if we are more inclusive and allow them that space, give them that, they may still have such institutions, but at least the children will also grow with other children and integrate. In that sense, both the things should be going on. But separately educating them in the longer run may not be beneficial for them or for us. Because we will lose out on that culture and lose out on that whole approach to education. It's a very different approach you can see from their relationship with nature. Most schools in India don't have that. Most government schools at least. Okay. So now, how do we put it in slideshow?
slideshow में नीचे से डालो.
How do we perceptions about marginalization enter the classroom? We have seen that, how perception is there, but is it from textbooks or from the way the classrooms are organized, or is it teachers' understanding and the attitude which helps children to be more empathetic and compassionate? This, what is your name? Diksha talked about the third point. She sees this as the most important point. The teacher's attitude and understanding. Do you agree with Diksha? Yes? Huh? Because that's the only way. Textbooks में तो सब diversity दिखाते हैं, पर वो फिर भी बदलाव नहीं ला पाता है ना. The textbooks are not sufficient. Okay? So we talked a lot, we can move on. So now these are the ways in which different aspects of marginalization take place. And what does this word intersectionality mean? This is a concept which is now growingly used. It means that when I am, let's say, gender की बात हो रही है, मैं महिला हूँ, but I am not just a woman. I may also belong to a certain socio-economic class. What you pointed out. What is your name? You worked in a school in a slum. Huh? What's her name? So Anu is pointing to this. So I may be a woman, but I come from a socio-economic background which is impoverished. I could also be Dalit at the same time. And at the same time, I may or may not be differently able to. So do you see how different aspects of my identity are intersecting together to give me that identity? My being woman, my caste identity, my gender, my social class identity, my economic background, the region I belong to, the language I speak. So if I'm an Adivasi girl, that's different from being an upper caste girl studying in an English medium school. Are you getting it? How complex this whole idea of exclusion is. It's not simple कि लड़कियों के against है या trans persons के against है या poor people, but there are many intersections going on. So all the inequality experience is doubled and tripled because of your location in different categories. Do you understand? Yes. So how does this affect? Somebody talked about in the morning about your well-being. Who, if you are unequally treated, there will be different. It causes trauma, emotional distress, often leading to mental illness. When I am reading these things written by these Dalit writers about their childhood experience in school, how they face this hunger because they were not given the same food in the midday meal. They were given different things. malnourishment, then there is health problems. So it's not simply marginalization and they're being physically kept out or physically included but treated differently in the classroom. These are the consequences of all this. Okay? So stigma and discrimination reduces your mental health and physical health care, and then because you don't have access to all that health care, you further get your well-being is endangered. Next, then we have how do we address marginalization. So these are the steps. Again, I have brought this paper in both English and Hindi, and you could just be becoming aware first of our biases. Then we try to gain more knowledge about other people, other cultures, other genders, and acting upon witnessing acts of injustice. चुप नहीं रहना है. जब आप कुछ देखते हो गलत हो रहा है, आप बिल्कुल मत चुप रहो. That's the first step in being responsible citizen. Not to be quiet about your any injustice, whether it's against a girl child or a Dalit or some religious injustice. You must be able to speak up. And if you foster diversity at a young age through your own sensitivity, then the children grow up to accept differences in the society. They are born different, they grow up differently, and then their whole attitude is different. So we can see that there is cross learning of multiple perspectives as a result in your classroom. And this I am going to leave behind, and your teachers can photocopy. Those who want Hindi version also have an English version. Yes, यही है, same thing in Hindi. So you can give it to them. And these are the three things like yesterday we did. How will you pick? Who will now answer quickly? Pick three. What are most significant to you? Most significant in these. कौन सा आपको लग रहा है? एक बता दो बेशक. कौन सा आपको सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट लग रहा है? कोई भी बात बताए ना, बताओ दिशा. Opportunities. So you want that justice for all. Very good. Who else would like to answer?
Yes.
What is
From back, Srilina, आप बताइए.
Health and well-being. So to work towards health and well-being, you have to do other things. Health and well-being अपने आप से नहीं होगा. Also being providing equal opportunities, then the health and well-being will be there. Nurturing children from different backgrounds, different castes, different religions, right? Yes, anybody else?
Gender inclusive classroom.
Huh?
Gender inclusive classroom.
Very good. To ensure gender parity, equality, and then the self-confidence in girls will go up, the self-esteem will go up. They will look to do more professional careers and so on. Yes, anybody else?
Inclusive education.
What do you mean by inclusive education?
सारे बच्चे जो भी क्लास में होंगे उनको इंक्लूड करना, किसी को डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं करना, कास्ट या किसी के.
Very good. All the things we discussed in the morning.
Yes.
One last person. You would have done 5 then. One more person, please give for your viewpoint.
Yes.
बताओ. कोई नहीं बोलना चाह रहा है. कोई बोलो.
बोलो, इतने सारे हैं. अब culturally responsible.
Very good. I was wanting to say that. Culturally responsive teaching. That is, you include the cultures which they are like the Dalit, those Adivasi children. And even if you are teaching in a school in Delhi, and there are no children from that community, you still include it. Why? Excuse me. To bring about as awareness in other children. Just because that child is not in your class doesn't mean you don't include other cultures. Because the children in your class will become much more aware of those cultures. If you just focus only on particular culture, particular religious examples जब आप देते हैं ना, जब आप उदाहरण देंगे, तो आप कहाँ से उठा के दीजिए, अलग-अलग. Never mind if those children, there is no trans person in your class, but still show that inclusivity in ways which then enable other children to be inclusive towards them. You get what I am saying? कि जरूरी नहीं है कि वही बच्चे आपकी क्लास में हों तभी आप वो करेंगे. Got it? So now I'll move to the next topic because there is an activity. We'll see if we have time later. Otherwise, 12 बज गए. Shall we move? Any question on this topic of marginalization? हाँ?
कुछ पूछना है?
बाद में भी पूछ सकते हैं. Let's move to the next.
Okay.
So if you are losing time.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an enriching and enlightening session. So, I hope that our students have gained a diverse perspective of understanding about inclusive education, and issues of access, retention, and exclusion pertaining to all the, you can say, domains, right? So, I hope you have gained a lot of insight. Did you?
Yes.
Speak up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, now we will move to the next session. So I hand over the mic to Vibhadi, so she will coordinate.
It's there. You go back. This you do. Can you show her also how to do the video?
ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you and good afternoon. Today we are going to talk on fifth and last session of the 2 days workshop, and this is a great privilege for conducting this session, as we know that this topic is a self-development which is already we are teaching learning this paper at B.Ed 4th semester, and I would like to share that you are selected for this 2 days workshop because of this paper. So clap for yourself. And now, without taking too much time, I would like to hand over this PPT and session to ma'am, Professor Meenakshi Thapar ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so why are we doing this topic? Huh? Why are we doing this theme? Diksha answered it when she said that we have to develop a sensitivity. So the whole workshop that I've been engaged with you is towards developing that sensitivity. How are you going to be a teacher? You are studying your subjects, I know that. And you are doing all your language teaching, maths teaching, जो भी आप कर रहे हो, वो सारा आप सीख रहे हो. आप B.Ed के पूरे theoretical concepts भी सीख लिए हैं, whether it's in philosophy, sociology, psychology, all the things you have done. But how are you going to be a sensitive teacher? Responsive to the children, also to the needs of the time. You know, the needs of the time. You're seeing how there's a transition going on in the world. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot going on in society that we need to address and be sensitive to. Then only we say कि मेरी तो जिंदगी चल रही है, मेरा तो time pass हो रहा है, and not be bothered. Then that is going to give a different culture to your classroom. So learn to be sensitive, aware, alert individuals. I hope I'm able to bring some of it about. To develop a sense of emotional awareness in yourselves. You can only bring it about, sorry am I blocking, you are bringing it about in children only if you are yourself emotionally aware. Self-reflection, self-assessment, observation, and last is recording our experiences. I am going to give a handout in Hindi about recording your experiences in a journal. I don't know if in B.Ed they teach you about keeping a reflective journal. But as teachers, we'll talk about it. It's very important for you to reflect because every day you will then see yourself growing, adding new examples to yourself, suggestions to yourself. And all the classroom implications is how you develop self-reflexive practices as well as teaching strategies that include a mindful meaning that you are aware of it, both personal and professional experiences. Okay. So let's begin with why is this important to firstly do? Because we are not isolated individuals, we are connected to others and nature as the Adivasis are in a very unique manner, but we are all interconnected. And all this affects the way we relate to other human beings and to the world around us. So we need to understand ourselves first as complex human beings who have both emotions and thoughts, and those can often create conflict. है ना, जहाँ हम रहते हैं वहाँ conflict हो सकता है, because we are not just emotional beings or only thinking beings, both are connected. So only through continuous observation, self-awareness, we can be engaged in understanding oneself, and we can teach in a more holistic way in the classroom. You understand? So now we go to this is not a video of Krishnamurti's who talks about what does it mean. It's in the videos. It's not video? It is.
ये आपके
First one. It's an audio, it's not video.
Close your eyes and listen here.
We seem to think that our life, the daily life only, is something separate, away from the whole world of travail, misery, confusion. We think the individual, the you,
You can just start from the beginning. We are
is
talking.
different from the rest of the world. We seem to think
Click on the screen.
that our life, the daily life only, is something separate, away from the whole world of travail, misery, confusion. We think the individual, the you, is different from the rest of the world. The world, with all its atrocities, wars, inequality and injustice. When you look a little more closely, then you will see what you are, your daily life, what you think, what you feel, is the external world. You are the world. You are the human being that has made this world. The world so utterly in disorder. The world that is crying in great sorrow, helpless. It is you, the human being, have built this world. So the world outside you is not different from the world in which you live, your world, your private life. So, in bringing about a radical change in the human being, in you, in the individual, you are naturally bringing about a radical change in the structure and the nature of society, which means the individual, the you, human being, has to go into the whole structure of himself. One must understand oneself, how you are made, both biologically as well as psychologically. If you want to think rationally, sanely, you have to know yourself. You have to search out the causes of why you think and do certain things. Why you are aggressive, brutal, acquisitive, dominant, possessive, which are all the causes of conflict between human beings. It's only by seeing actually what is taking place in your life, observing it very closely, without any condemnation, then you will discover for yourself that the mind can be free.
Okay, so what impacts our teaching practices? Do you realize what are the different impact of different things? your life experience, then personal and social belief system, societal practices, technical knowledge of the subject, how you teach. All of this impacts your teaching. Don't think it's only the technical knowledge and how you teach. अक्सर हम ये सोचते हैं सिर्फ मैं वेल प्रिपेयर्ड हूँ, मैं जाऊँगी क्लास में पढ़ाऊँगी. But what is your personal belief system? What is the social belief system? What have been your life experiences? All this also comes in. You have to be aware of that. You have to recognize that. Not think he is a very well prepared teacher is the best teacher. Yes, she is a good teacher. But she also needs to be simultaneously aware of herself. Our teaching practices do not exist in a vacuum. So what are some of the aspects of our personality that impact our teaching? You tell me, what are some of the aspects of our personality? What are the things that influence our teaching? What aspects of our personality?
Our attitude towards the students.
Attitude towards students. What else? My own personality. Attitude, whether it's a biased attitude or very good, or whether it's a free from bias, or whether it's prejudice towards particular children. Yes. What else?
And it should be free from bias, and it should be friendly nature towards students and supportive nature.
Not what should be. What is it now? What influences our teaching practice? क्या आपकी personality में है?
Supportive nature, the friends nature towards students, and cooperating with students in each step of their decision and work activities. So that.
What else? What other aspects of your personality? If you interact freely with the children, as she said, Anu Singh said rightly, as you interact with the children, are you able to, we talked about relationship the first day, na? How does it impact teaching? If you don't relate and you just come teach your subject and go, you are too much troubled by your own personal problems, you won't help the children. Be very mechanical. Is it? Why are you laughing?
इसको थोड़ा सा और मैं कनेक्ट करूँ तो मैम की कौन सी पर्सनालिटी है that you will carry with you in your teaching?
कौन सी मैम की? मेरी क्या पर्सनालिटी?
We have such a magnetic personality.
आपकी कौन सी चीज
You are
impact
so
करती है?
enthusiastic, you are so empathy, taking continuously session, autocratic or democratic. These are the things that the way the ma'am is dealing with you.
And coming and starting to teach without allowing somebody else to speak.
That also there in my
That also there. That I have just started teaching. I see that. So that also is there. Do you get the point? How you are, that's what we communicate to the children. That's the point. Why do I teach what I teach? First answer this question. Why do I teach what I teach? Not कि मैंने BA ऑनर्स मैथ्स किया है, BSc जो भी किया है वो मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ. But why do you want to be a teacher? Why do you want to teach only maths or English? Yes.
Because I love that subject.
Very good.
Personally, when from the childhood, my father used to teach me maths every day in the morning and the night, and I love playing with the numbers.
Very
Then
good.
I decided to teach that.
Yeah, and that passion will communicate to the children. It's not going to be not communicated. It will be communicated. Anybody else has something else to say? She loves the subject. She is not just looking for a job. As some students sometimes tell me that, ma'am, it's a very good job for girls because you are free by lunchtime and you can come home and do all your household duties. If that's the reason why you teach, then it's not. It's going to impact the children quite differently. Okay? How do I build rapport with my children? How do you build that connection with your children? By being friendly, approachable, not being distant. दूर से नहीं उनको रखना.
कनेक्शन बिल्ड करके बच्चों के साथ.
हाँ बिल्कुल. Connections build करना. Punish नहीं करना ज़्यादा. कल बात हो रही थी ना punishment की. So is there a group of students this way? Is there a group of students I am more comfortable to teach? Why? Can you teach any supposing you join Rishi Valley School and we tell you have to teach class 4, class 9 and class 11. We don't believe in PGT and PGB. All our teachers are paid the same salary, whether they teach junior class, prep section which is very small children, or they teach senior class. Will you be okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Be ready to teach any class. Don't be waiting कि मुझे senior ही लेनी है. We have a teacher who joined us about 3 years or 4 years ago from Delhi, and she is MA, MSc or MA in Geography and BA from Delhi University. But the job she had in Delhi was only teaching very junior children, young children. But she was doing it happily. She got a lot of experience. And she was not even teaching geography. She was made to teach other subjects. Of course, one we can say, chalo, she had a job, at least she had a job. But also she got that experience, so when she came to us, she already knew how to communicate with children and she got the opportunity. We gave her straight away geography for the younger children. And she is not, she had never taught 11th, 12th, but now in Rishi Valley she is teaching also and doing very well. So you should be ready to teach any class, anytime and any group of children. No, I want a very quiet class. ऐसे नहीं होता है. वो 300 बच्चे भी तो पढ़ाती है, कोई she hasn't come to it. That girl who is teaching 300 children.
She was teaching but 50 students.
I am quite amazed. Okay, what do I do when there is discomfort in my classroom? How do I deal with discomfort? Discomfort कल हमने थोड़ी बात करी इस पे ना कि किस तरह से अगर आप लोग परेशान हैं, how will you deal with it? Some things we talked about next. How do you all the answers you've given me influence your interaction in the class? Yeah? They do interact. Don't be quiet. If you're quiet with me, you'll be quiet in the class also. You should be able to talk to me freely. Yesterday, I think you were saying, you were the one who said that you learned about a new way of disciplining children, right? So how do you think all these answers are going to impact you in the classroom? You tell me. What's your name?
I'm Harshita.
Harshita. Tell me. Huh? Okay, so it's gone to the, it was in the previous slide, I think we moved to the previous associated. How do your answers influence your interaction? All the answers you heard from different people here, how do you think they will influence the interaction in the class?
मैम बच्चों से ज़्यादा उनके साथ सेंसिटिव
इनको माइक दे दीजिए प्लीज, किसके पास है?
मैम उनके बच्चों के बहुत सेंसिटिव होना चाहिए और वो उनको समझना अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहिए कि क्या कहना
हाँ, तो उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा अगर आप लोग करेंगे जो इन्होंने किसी ने बताया, तो आप उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा क्लासरूम सेटिंग में?
तो मैम बच्चों को ये रियलाइज होगा कि टीचर जो है उनके टुवर्ड्स भी ध्यान दे रहे हैं, सिंसियरिटी दिखा रहे हैं, वो लोग भी कोशिश करेंगे
मोबाइल अपना स्विच ऑफ रखें.
हाँ, okay, thank you. I don't want to do. Okay, let's just go one at a time. When we are closely involved in the life of the children, we are not only carriers of technical knowledge. ये मैं कल से आपको बता रही हूँ कि सिर्फ जब आप क्लोजली उनका हाल पूछेंगे, उनका परिवार के बारे में पूछेंगे, क्या स्थिति है, क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, क्या चैलेंजेस हैं, खुश हैं, नहीं हैं, then you will be more involved with them and you will teach better. Do you get what I did? Relate to you better. And then your teaching will go further. I don't mean teach better in the very sense, except it will go further when you have the children with you. Yes, next. We are carriers of attitudes, values and feelings. Right? Next. Can you share any instance where your personal experiences, emotions or beliefs shaped somebody around you, a young person? सवाल समझ रहे हैं? हाँ? When any of your personal experience influence somebody else, क्लास में?
9th में। वो शुरू से CBSE बोर्ड से पढ़ा हुआ था और वो जिस स्कूल से पढ़ा था तो वहाँ पे इंग्लिश को ज़्यादा प्रमोट किया जाता था, हिंदी और संस्कृत को ज़्यादा नहीं किया जाता था। तो 9th क्लास में अचानक से उसे ऐसा नहीं लगा कि संस्कृत उसे ट्यूशन की ज़रूरत है, तो मैंने उसे ट्यूशन पढ़ाया। और पहले उसे लगता था कि वो संस्कृत में कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन 2 साल 9th और 10th मैंने उसे पढ़ाया और 10th में जाके उसके 92% आए थे संस्कृत में। तो उसको एक कॉन्फिडेंस फील हुआ कि हाँ मैं भी जो सब्जेक्ट मेरा वीक है मैं उसमें आगे कर सकता हूँ। तो मैंने उसे इस तरह से इन्फ्लुएंस किया था, पढ़ा के और मोटिवेट करके।
Very good. Anybody else wants to answer this question? Otherwise we go to the next. Yes, ma'am. हाँ, बोलो.
Ma'am, in my school when I was teaching in class 10th standard, उसमें एक बच्ची थी and she was coming from Muslim community and उसमें अलाउ था कि you will opt only Urdu for 11th class as a language subject. You will not opt English.
किसने कहा उसको?
उसके पेरेंट्स ने अलाउ किया था उसे कि तुम्हें सिर्फ उर्दू ही लेना है, otherwise you will not take another language subject. In 11th class she was good in English, she was good in reading English, writing English. So I told her, if you are good in English, then don't think about others, go for English. वो बोलती नहीं मैम नहीं हो पाएगा। I said कि तुम मुझे बताना, talk to your parents कि तुम इंग्लिश में अच्छी हो तो मैं क्यों नहीं तुम इंग्लिश ले सकती हो। तो बोलते मेरे पेरेंट्स अलाउ नहीं करेंगे इंग्लिश पढ़ना, तो उर्दू ही मेरे कम्युनिटी में अलाउ है। तो फिर आई सपोर्टेड हर एंड मोटिवेटेड हर अबाउट ओके। और फिर उसने लिया कि नहीं लिया? आई विल कॉन्टेक्ट हर।
अच्छा,
स्कूल में जाऊंगी तो हाँ।
But that's very good. So these are the ways in which you can motivate the children to do differently, so that they feel they get that strength from you. So what do you feel about this statement? Stories enhance our understanding of the contemporary and historical context in our lives, where we are now, where we are from, and what we aspire to be, where we want to travel to. The use of storytelling. We talked about briefly yesterday, you remember collaborative storytelling? How do you use stories to bring about self-awareness? Do you think stories can play any role in bringing about self-awareness? कैसे बच्चों में self-awareness लाने के लिए stories को हम क्या use कर सकते हैं?
Ma'am, being a literature student, I think the students relate with all the characters present in the story.
Very good.
So, story will impact very powerfully on their mindset.
That will bring about a self-awareness. It's to bring about self-awareness. Not just an impact, but become conscious. Just go to the next. How will you use stories to facilitate self-reflection in children in your class? How will you use a story to? कोई आपके दिमाग में है कोई स्टोरी आपने कभी यूज़ करी या आपके पेरेंट्स ने आपने बताई हो या किसी टीचर ने आपको बताई हो, which had a difference in your way of reflecting on yourself, you thought about yourself?
The story of the class 9 economics is a chapter of Palanpur.
Can you just give her the mic?
Class 9 10th class economics tells a story of Palanpur village. In that Palanpur village, we know about the struggles of the daily wage earner and why the children at the age of 14 have to drop out of school because of lack of resources. So that story also reflects some of the aspects of students and their personal struggles. But along with that, they could connect themselves.
Very good. So you can use that story to bring about that self-awareness. Very good.
And students could be thankful that they have those resources which they could use. And there are many underprivileged kids who don't have those resources, but they really want to study, but because of lack of resources, administration and the society's influence, which makes them unable for that. And we should be really thankful that we have those resources. And our parents are so organized, and it's somehow
Exactly. How to bring about, that's a very good idea and good point of a good use of a story already in a textbook. So it's not like you have to look very far. And you can develop that sense of self-awareness. You're saying something.
The story of two frogs who lives in a well, and one of the frogs thought that our world is limited in the well itself, and other frog thought that the world is beyond the well.
The well. You know the story of the two frogs in the well? हाँ, बताओ आगे बताओ।
वो मेंढकों की कहानी जिसमें एक सोचता था कि मेरी जो दुनिया है वो लिमिटेड है, वो वेल के अंदर, और दूसरा सोचता था कि देयर इज मच मोर टू एक्सप्लोर बियॉन्ड दिस वेल। तो इससे ये मतलब ये रिफ्लेक्ट होता है कि यू आर द मेकर ऑफ योर ओन डेस्टिनी। योर वर्ल्ड विल इज नॉट लिमिटेड टू वेयर यू लिव। It's about exploration.
It's about exploration, reaching beyond yourself. That will also facilitate self-reflection in children. They will begin to think, I don't have to stay limited to what you imagine yourself. I can only do this much. No, you can dream big. Huh? Yes. So here, this is now we come to how is self-awareness part of social emotional learning. Okay. We have to put the videos. Sorry, to trouble you so much. No, not this one. You have to go to that whole thing.
इसको क्रॉस करो, वो आ जाएगा ना, नीचे वो है ना फोल्डर वाला येलो वाला। हाँ।
Not that, the next one.
The self-awareness.
Hello again, it's the Geisler Social Workers coming to you with more great information. I am Tawanda Connolly, Valley Vista School Social Worker. These series explore 5 components of social learning. Today, we will be talking about 1, self-awareness. We all like to think that we are self-aware, but researchers have found that although 95% of people think they're self-aware, only 10 to 15% are actually truly self-aware. What is self-awareness? It is more than being aware of our surroundings. Self-awareness is defined as the ability to accurately recognize one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how they influence our behaviors. Learning about self-awareness allows students as well as ourselves to understand how others see us. Building student self-awareness is an important skill that can help students learn how to self-advocate and to embrace good study habits. Self-awareness is the ability to accurately assess one's own strengths and limitations with a well-grounded sense of confidence and optimism and the growth mindset. Families, you can help your children develop self-awareness by being honest about your emotions and helping them to be honest about their own emotions. By teaching a vocabulary of emotions, modeling appropriate behavior and response, and supporting students as they grow in self-awareness. Let's take a moment and pause, arrive, and ground ourselves in self-awareness.
This one. Next. So I want you to now look at a story, next one. This is a story of how we recognize emotions in ourselves and in others. This is about a teacher called Seema who had come very well prepared to class. She had all the materials. However, when she came into class, she saw students are not there. They are busy with a project which had been given by another teacher. And the other teacher came quickly into the class and asked Seema, can I use your class? Seema was unsure, but she said yes. However, later on she felt she could have handled the situation better. Next. So, next. Can you recognize the emotions that Seema might have felt? Why did she so quickly say yes? When she went, there was nothing much going on there. How do you think she felt? Quickly. If you read the first part or you listen to the first part of the story, tell me. How do you think if you go into a class and somebody else, without asking you, still continue, then they come and ask you. And then you say yes. But first, what was your first reaction?
हम sad हो जाते हैं.
हाँ?
Sad हो जाते हैं.
हाँ, sad कि आप गए हो prepared और वो टीचर ने आपको बताया भी नहीं और आपकी क्लास ले रही है. So you recognize your emotion first, how you're feeling. And then, and immediately you say yes because you are not sure at that moment, jalbazi mein, you say yes. आगे चलो. Would knowing how she feels help her handle future situations differently? If so, how? Supposing she knew and she was aware कि मुझे दुख हो रहा है, ये मेरी क्लास लेती इसने. Would it have helped her? In what way would it have helped her? Just think before answering.
She will learn to say no.
She will learn to say no. Because of what reason? Why will she say no?
If I have prepared for something.
No, we are talking about emotions, not about what we prepared. She said, Kajal said that I'm feeling sad. In class anything. So the question is, how are you feeling at that time?
I will feel regret to keep
regret
in class.
So तुम्हें अपना regret, sadness ये सब तुम recognize करोगी तो तुम्हारा response अलग से हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है, क्योंकि इस वक्त you don't recognize, you are so trapped in that feeling of regret and sad. You are not self-aware. You saw about what that lady was talking about, how you need to be aware of your emotions. Then only you will teach children how to be aware. Are you getting it? So if we go next, how will it change? So the story continues. After this incident, Seema started avoiding the other teacher. Because उसको इतना बुरा लगा था, मेरी क्लास ले ली. She was not sure why, but she went uncomfortable and remained silent. The other teacher noticed that something has gone wrong, could not put a finger on it. After some time, both teachers became very formal to one another. Where do you see this happening in Seema's story?
मैम, हमारे पास राइट भी नहीं होता है ना कि हम ना कर सकते हैं उस चीज़ को कि अगर कोई टीचर, अगर उस क्लास में हमारी उस क्लास में कुछ सडनली एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म होने वाली है, लाइक कोई टेस्ट वगैरह होने वाला है और हमारी क्लास में ली जाती है, तो हम मना भी नहीं कर सकते. और मेरी थी कि 7th 8th क्लास में, तो जो भी एक्टिविटीज़ होती थी वो उसी टाइम वो क्लास सस्पेंड हो जाती थी.
और आप एक काम तो कर सकते हो ना, अब ये तो कह सकते हो ना, आइडिया दे रही हूँ, ये नहीं कह रही कि मेरा आंसर सही है. एक जस्ट आई एम फ्लोटिंग वन आइडिया. व्हाट इफ यू फील कि मुझे पहले बताना था. आफ्टर ऑल टेस्ट तो प्लान होता है ना, एकदम से तुम्हें कोई टेस्ट.
ये मेरा क्वेश्चन रहता था, तो फिर एक्चुअली वो इंटर्नशिप था तो
you don't have much say, yes. But when you are working in a school where you are a regular teacher, you will be able to ask, can you tell me, or at least say now, okay. And आगे से please inform me in advance or tell the teacher in charge of that junior section or maybe school or wherever you are teaching, then I need to be told in advance so that you can also learn how to assert yourself without being rude, and then you won't carry that bad feeling against the other teacher. Because they also then became formal to each other. They stopped talking to each other. Is it or is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
तो आप वो भी तो सिचुएशन अवॉइड करना चाहते हो ना. आप जैसे भी बिहेव कर रहे हो आपस में टीचर्स, वो बच्चों के ऊपर भी प्रभावित होता है. It's not that the children are not seeing. They are very clever. They know very well which teacher gets along with which teacher does not get along. And then they behave like that amongst each other. थोड़ी बुलिंग की आदत, वीकनेस.
वैसा कुछ होता नहीं है, क्योंकि टीचर्स भी जानते हैं कि हमें बच्चों के सामने बात नहीं करनी है. उन्होंने पर्सनली ऐसे आकर पूछा था मेरे से और सडनली मैंने बोल दिया कि ओके आप ले सकते हैं क्लास. तो फिर मुझे बाद में रियलाइज हुआ कि अब मेरा लेसन प्लान क्या होगा, मेरी वीकेंड की क्लासेस कैसे होंगी. फिर वो मैंने बाद में अरेंजमेंट क्लासेस से मैनेज किया अपने सब्जेक्ट टीचर से बात करके. तो ये होता है.
Okay, next. Now, often we are unaware why we might feel uncomfortable or fearful of a situation. These emotions underlie our actions. So all I'm saying is learn to be aware of your emotions. When you are with that teacher, it could be something totally different also. Seema's example is one example. There could be many other situations in a school where you are not aware of your emotions and at that point you react or you say something. गुस्सा आ जाता है इसने तो थप्पड़ भी मार दिया. So ये भी होता है ना. Then if you are aware of your emotions, at that moment you recognize. जो we are just exaggerating maybe. You realize yourself. We had a teacher in our school because the child was so rude, he slightly pushed the child. That child made a big dhamaka and went and complained. Such and such teacher pushed me. है ना हल्के हाथ से उसने he got so annoyed with him, he pushed him. But that child wanted to see the teacher being punished. That in a Krishnamurti school you are not supposed to touch the children, raise the children. So children also take advantage of you. But you have to recognize your emotion at that moment and see what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Is it going to solve the problem? Okay, next.
I have one question.
हाँ please.
सेम टाइम अगर हम मना करते हैं तो हमें बुरा नहीं लगेगा, पर सामने वाले को बुरा लगेगा, वो भी हम सफ़र कर सकते हैं. आई फील इन एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन अगर सीनियर हो या कोई ऐसा हो लीडिंग, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम अगर हमें ज़रूरत है तो हम कह सकते हैं कि आई वॉन्ट योर क्लास. सो दिस इज़ अनदर टाइप ऑफ सिचुएशन. सो अगर सिंगल डील कर लेते हैं खुद को तो हम, अदरवाइज चैन हमारा कंटिन्यू हो जाता है. तो उसके साथ हम कैसे डील करें?
No, you are right. Sometimes that is colleagueship, collegiality बोलते हैं. How you relating to one another? If that collegiality exists amongst yourselves, you will happily give your class and happily exchange and all of that. Huh? That is true. Let's see where there is. Think of instances where there is a conflict in professional settings. आप जो कह रहे हो वो conflict नहीं है उसमें, है ना? वो आप शेयर कर रहे हो, वो कभी आपकी शेयर कर रहे हैं आप.
But ma'am, if we are well prepared and want to take class,
that is the problem.
That time we feel. और if first class है और हम prepare होकर on time आए हैं और सडनली कोई क्लास ले किसी को जल्दी जाना है तो सम टाइम माइंड भी डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है क्योंकि हम वी आर फोकस ऑन दैट
टॉपिक. इन द माइंड लाइक द चिल्ड्रन आल्सो हियर यू.
Children already know this thing.
No, what she is saying is that once sometimes you are very well prepared and you don't want to miss the class and you feel very bad because next time you may not be in that situation. So how would you respond in such situations? You can say no, like she said. Somebody said there, आगे चलो. Think about what you commonly say, do and feel. Just be conscious of your emotions at particular moments of time. And is there a pattern that you can identify in your behavior? All the time giving in to teachers. Also you see, am I all the time trying to be very nice? No, that's also a problem. Am I all the time just giving in because I want to be seen? Oh, she's so nice.
This is a very big problem.
This is very
very nice.
Many people want to be in good books.
Good books, yes. Exactly. So how are you going to deal with that? Are you going to just do it for that reason? Or because you genuinely want to have a relationship with that person? Or you feel, be conscious even of this being nice. Maybe आपकी job demand करती है कि आपको be nice, you have to be nice. But at least be conscious of that, ना? कि I am doing this because of that reason. That's all that Krishnamurti asks us to be aware of ourselves. Everything I am doing with you is from Krishnamurti. Please understand that it's not separate. It's all Krishna ji. The only thing is I am doing it in a school setting. Yes. In what ways does your behavior influence your relationship with students and your colleagues? You have to be very conscious of it. Because that affects your relationships with your students and with your colleagues. Then what really was working when they sat down to discuss how they wanted to share classes or inform each other, what you were suggesting. आपने सजेस्ट किया ना कि कभी हम लेंगे कभी वो आके बैठ के डायलॉग करो, उसके बारे में बातचीत करो, आपस में डिस्कशन करो. It was also an important step in helping one another create a space where they could feel safe to express themselves and look for solutions. So talking, dialoguing, being in connection, communication with one another is very important in your school setting, anywhere in life, but especially when you are around children. Because you don't, whenever there is conflict in any place, it communicates itself to everyone. Not only the children, other teachers will also see it. So not to be in that situation, see what was the impact on the students and how do you think it could have been addressed. The students must have been impacted. If they see a fight going on or somebody feeling very sad, a teacher, or being let down, or not being able to communicate, the students will recognize it and it will impact them. So the only thing we are saying is to have an awareness. So we move forward. So how do these interconnections impact us? Just wait. So one side you have your behavior. Then there are experiences and memories. Next time Seema meets that teacher, she neglects her or avoids her. So that is on the basis of that memory that she was so rude to me, she took my class away. And that is resting in your feelings and emotions. Again it will impact your behavior. And then you have certain thoughts and beliefs about what good behavior should be. That also affects your behavior. So it's all a circle. Let us analyze. Do we know what emotions we are feeling and why? Are we aware of that? Next. Do we understand the links between our emotions, thoughts and actions as it is showing in this diagram? Do we recognize these? You please tell me. Are we able to notice how our emotions affect our performance? कभी तुम्हें लगता है कि तुम अवेयर थी कि तुम्हारे इमोशंस ने परफॉर्मेंस को इफेक्ट किया? Give me one example. Of an awareness of your emotions.
If I will be happy, I will be more enthusiastic towards my work and it will impact my work.
But one instance you give where you are unhappy, will you let us know?
Ma'am, once upon a time when I was speaking on the stage in class 9, I was told by my favorite teacher, आकांक्षा तुम सो के बोल रही थी क्या स्टेज पे? और उस टाइम पे like I was having stage fear. तो उसके बाद से मुझे लगा कि जब मेरे फेवरेट टीचर ऐसा बोल सकते हैं तो उसके बाद मैंने कभी स्टेज पे बोला ही नहीं, क्लास 12 तक नहीं बोला. So, it was, but I was a little demotivated by my favorite teacher at that point.
Yeah.
So it has impacted me a lot.
So you can see now how you communicate with children, how does it impact them. Yeah. This is on self-awareness by Krishnamurti. Akanksha, would you like to read it?
Is there a video?
No.
If you are aware of outward things,
please listen.
The curve of a road, the shape of a tree, the delicacy of a flower, the pain on the face of passerby, the ignorance, the envy, the jealousy of others, the beauty of the earth, then seeing all these outward things without condemnation, without choice, you will become aware of your own reactions, of your own pettiness, of your own jealousies. From the outward awareness, you come to the inward, but if you are not aware of the outer, you cannot possibly come to the inner.
The question Krishnamurti is asking us कि जिस तरह से हम बाहरी दुनिया देखते हैं, can we look at ourselves with the same eyes? How we observe the world outside? We are so perceptive when we are seeing something happening outside. Can we see ourselves? Sometimes pause and reflect on yourself. That is why I am asking you to keep a journal. There you can write about how you felt today, how you feel, and become aware through that process of writing. Now here, this is what we will watch. This is a video.
What does it mean to observe? First of all, do we observe anything without the world? Do we observe the mountain and not call it mountain? Yes. Do we observe the evening light on the cloud with its most extraordinary color, beauty, and something immense? Can we look at those clouds and the mountain without a single without a single word? That's why can we look at anything objectively? The trees, nature, the waters, the sky and the evening star, and the silence of the morning. This extraordinary world we live in, natural world, can we look at anything without a single word? And to find that out, we have to go into the question why the brain is caught in a network of words. And now we are asking, can we look at anything, including my wife, my husband, my daughter, the politicians, the various gurus and the priests and all the circus that goes on in the name of religion? Can we look at all that without reaction first, then find out if we can look at all that without the network of words interfering with our observation? When one looks at one's wife or husband, can you look at her or him without all the images, all the things that you have accumulated about her or him, just to look? Why the brain is so caught up in words? When you say he's a communist or a totalitarian, you have wiped it out, right? You have put him in a category, in a cage, and that's the end of it. Oh, he's British. Or he's French, or he's Indian, or he's this or that. See what is happening to our brain. Linguistically, the brain has been caught with words, not the significance and the depth of the word, but just the word. This requires careful watching. Watching is to observe. Have you ever done this kind of thing? The freshness of my brain, you understand? Which is not caught in words and real. Look at everything as though for the first time you're looking at the world. That observation is to watch oneself, never allowing a single thought to escape without knowing, without watching it, being aware of it, giving your whole attention at one thought. And then another thought, keep at it. So that your brain is tremendously attentive. so that watching is not egocentric movement, whereas thinking about yourself is egotistic, self-centered activity. That is, observing the questions.
All students and teachers should respect each other and themselves. Respect is of the utmost importance. As a teacher, don't allow your students to disrespect anyone in the classroom. The teacher-student relationship is arguably the most important component of academic success. Teachers need to get to know their students beyond academics in school. Trust and honesty go along with forming strong relationships with your students. Be honest and straightforward in giving feedback to your students. Positive learning environments revolve around supports. Teachers are in a great position to help support their students academically. So just as negativity is contagious, so is positivity. Smile a lot in the classroom if you're a teacher. Believe me, it goes a long, long way. High expectations for classroom learning will not only increase academic outcomes, it will also increase your students' self-esteem. Making positive parent phone calls can have a tremendous impact on a family. And it's really something special. It's really positive. And lastly, social and emotional learning is about teaching students to understand and manage their emotions in a positive way. Teachers should at least be aware of social emotional learning strategies in the classroom.
While doing that, keeping a reflective journal, how much time it will require? Can't we just introduce that? It's a very good thing.
I have so much material when you
It's
ask
okay,
me.
but after the lunch, we'll start the level. But 5-10 minutes, ma'am, just that drill, that skill, that.
No, so what you need to write in your journal actually, whatever you felt, like if you had an episode like Seema did, it's good to record that. So, and you understand yourself, and the next day or the next week or the next month, it will impact you once you write it, you reflect on it, because as Krishnamurti says, it's not just your emotions which are acting, your thoughts and emotions are working together. So when you are thoughtfully recording everything, you will understand your emotions. That's one way of understanding your emotions. One way is self-awareness, the other is to be writing down your experiences. How did a child, your principal called you to her office and scolded you, for example, that your class is too noisy? It happens in school sometimes. If not the principal, some other head teacher or junior school in charge or whatever. What will you do with that? You feel bad. At that moment, write all this down and think about it. Next day, look at your journal, see how you progress. There is a journal by a teacher, Himraj, his diary, school diary, it's available in Hindi and in English. It's a publication. And it really helped him, Himraj, to know himself as a teacher and how he shaped him, his journey as a teacher. Every evening, if you can find few minutes, after you finish preparing your lesson plan, make it a habit that I will just write 5 minutes, आज आधा ही पेज लिखूँ. बट लिखना जरूर है. अगर आप छोड़ दोगे फिर वो नहीं होता है काम. कि मैं संडे को करूँगी. संडे you will want to do other things. And you can take a break.
Very good afternoon to all of you. So it gives me immense pleasure to deliver a formal vote of thanks for Krishnamurti and our institution, like everything informal. But thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering such an insightful lecture. And understanding the self itself is a very complicated topic because most of the time we are very judgmental and keep on judging other people 90% of our life. We don't see, we don't look within. जिसको कहते हैं दिया तले अंधेरा. So we are keep on commenting on others. We don't look in ourselves. But for a teacher, it's very important to look. And then I'll share one thing. One day I have given them an activity. Just take a paper and write about yourself. And they all were blank. They were struggling, ma'am, कुछ क्यों, कुछ prompt, कुछ hint, what we have to write about ourselves. So this was, I think this is very interactive session. How did you solve it? I said, no, you write very honestly and very authentically what your heart says, what you feel about yourself. We all have studied the Carl Rogers story. One is your real self, one is your ideal self. And more it becomes synchronized, more congruent you become in yourself. So they wrote.
They wrote, I said, I will not help. It's about yourself, you write, and then I will see. So very interactive and very insightful lecture. Thank you. Thank you for sparing the time for us. We are looking ahead for more collaborations, and we'll move ahead with the valedictory session. Thank you so much.
Respected Professor Alka Singh ma'am, Principal BCW Rajghat, Honorable Professor Meenakshi Thakur ma'am, Director Rishi Valley School and Trustee Krishnamurti Foundation India, learned fellow colleagues of Department of Education and dear participants. Good afternoon everyone. It's an honor to welcome you all to the valedictory session after 2-day enriching workshop titled as Being a Teacher Beyond Teaching. I am your host for the session, and it's time to reflect, acknowledge and express gratitude. In a world where curiosity leads the way, a child's own rhythm shapes the day. Questions bloom where answers can wait. Imagination opens the classroom gate. With this vision, we meticulously planned this workshop, and over the past 2 days, we have explored new ideas for child-centered learning driven by constructivist approach, engaged in thought-provoking discussions over the marginalizations, explaining the self, etc. I am confident that the session has not only broadened the knowledge base of our students, but also it will encourage them to implement these learnings in their respective disciplines of teaching. With this note of this session, I will extend sincere thanks to Meenakshi Thakur ma'am for her invaluable contribution for bringing issues that plays a critical role in shaping the child's holistic growth beyond teaching, child's holistic growth as well as development of a teacher beyond teaching a subject. With this note, I now humbly invite Principal ma'am to bestow her blessings and enlighten our students with her words of wisdom. Ma'am, please.
My colleagues and my children out here. I'm sure it has been a very vibrant workshop which I had envisioned with your teachers. And as I learned, and I'm truly happy that it was an interactive one where you could talk to Meenakshi, and it is only in the questioning that we gather certain relevant facts of life which we can think about, not blindly adapt anything, but at least to speculate and to think about them. And I think this workshop is extremely meaningful in the context of NEP 2020, which has been implemented. And if you look at seriously at NEP 2020 and what it is talking about, I mean, on paper, it is for us to bring it into practice. It's about a holistic growth of the student. And the minute we talk about a holistic growth of the students, what are we looking at? We are looking at beyond books, classroom, and an education that comes from one's own experiences of learning throughout your career. And I think that is the biggest enrichment that we all carry, which is beyond the degrees which are going to equip you to earn your livelihood in the world. So there are two aspects of it. One is where we are looking for a degree to earn a livelihood, and the other is, of course, the actual learning to be a human being. What it is to be a good human being. That is what we are looking at. And it is very, while I was looking at this, because I have been a part of the NEP workshops for the higher education, and then, a very, it's not a simple book, I would not call it, but the first book that I had got hold of when I wanted to know what Jiddu Krishnamurti was talking about. I am unfortunate in not having met him, but yes, and that was where he talks about significance of education. And significance of education in that book, if you look at the second chapter of the book, it talks about this kind of integrated learning at the end of it. When you read the book yourself, I think that's one of the most important books which I gave you also, I think, for this workshop which I disseminated to your teachers, the second chapter. And it talks about this kind of learning that comes beyond your degrees and beyond classrooms, and that which he refers to it as an integrated self-learning, which is totally in agreement with what today they are talking in terms of NAP 2020. So just look at the richness of the education where we are sitting, the way we are looking at it, because even if you look at the so-called schemes of government, and when we look at Viksit Bharat of 2047, why does it say 47? Any idea about it? Why 2047? Why not 46, 45, 40, 30, 35? The Prime Minister's vision, he doesn't know that he will be a Prime Minister till 47, but why did he do? Any idea? Huh? Yeah, centenary year while we will be celebrating 100 years of independence. So probably that is the kind of growth we are looking at. And children, our generation may have messed up a lot of things in terms of understanding humanity, in terms of defining nature, and we are paying the price for it today with all the awareness. But you children are the agents of that 47 Viksit Bharat we are talking, and also the beneficiaries of it. If you, from heart, and you imbibe all those concepts which have been spoken. So I think it was absolutely, fitting that Meenakshi Di, as we call her, is here, and she has given you certain, I think, not only think about, to question them. And not only to question them today, but to carry those questions back into your classrooms with your teachers, and then try and see what is it that you are learning. Rest of it, filing, project, teaching, submitting, marks, dissertation. This is, what would I call it? Mechanical work. What we use our laptop and, cut, copy, paste and put it up there. That's not learning. The learning that will come will be from within, and I'm sure you will acknowledge this in times to come. So I would not have enough words to thank you, Meenakshi, for such a lovely session with my girls, and I'm sure that they would like to have some more sessions like this in future, and we are very fortunate. And actually she has travelled for this workshop. She may be a trustee and there are meetings, but that is secondary to this workshop. That is what, and I was so happy to hear that, and all her focus was on this workshop. So I'm truly grateful and honoured to have you here. I wish you would be, whenever you get a chance, please call upon us and be here with us. We'd love to have you here. Thank you.
Inspiring words, and you can see there is a quotation written in our classroom also. The teacher's duty is not to teach subject, but to inspire the love of learning. That love of learning for your subject, and be the stalwart for your subject in the schools wherever in the Indian setting you are going after completing your current degree. So, as we near the conclusion of this workshop, let us take a quick recap of what we have achieved. So I invite Dr. Ranjita Marak, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, for report presentation. Ma'am.
Dr. Jimmy ma'am. So I will briefly read out the report of today's enrichment workshop. So here it goes. Today's enrichment workshop for BA 4th semester was organized by Department of Education, Vasanta College for Women, on 21st and 22nd March, with the goal of fostering insightful discussion and enriching the understanding of various facets of education. The workshop was divided into 5 sessions, and each session featured a blend of lectures, interactive sessions, screenings, making it a comprehensive learning experience for all participants. The workshop began with the inaugural ceremony, where the participants were welcomed with enthusiasm. The Vasant Geet was presented by the Department of Music, creating a serene atmosphere and setting a tone for the event. Our principal ma'am, Ms. Alka Singh, felicitated our esteemed guest of honor and welcomed the participant, emphasized the importance of the workshop and expressed her gratitude to the speaker and faculty involved in the event. Professor Asha Pandey introduced the keynote speaker, Professor Meenakshi Dhawan, trustee of the Krishnamurti Foundation India and former professor in sociology at Delhi University. Professor Meenakshi Thakur ma'am shared her thoughts on the significance of the workshop. She introduced various themes that will be explored in the upcoming session, particularly focusing on child-centered education, inclusive education, and the philosophy of Jitendra Krishnamurthy. Dr. Juhi, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, delivered the vote of thanks, expressing her gratitude to the speaker, organizer, and the participants. And the session was conducted by Dr. Ranjita Marak. Session 2 focused on the concept of child-centered education, emphasizing the importance of understanding the learner's context in shaping an effective educational experience. She extensively highlighted different child-centered approach in education, debate around child-centered approach, processes that enable child-centered education in Indian classroom, and also highlighted the challenges in adopting those child-centered education. The session was conducted by Dr. Juhi Rai. Session 3 focused on activity-based learning, where students actively engage with the learning process rather than passively grasping the information. The participants were divided into groups, and each groups were assigned a child-centered educational approach to explore. The groups were asked to identify why they chose the specific approach, design a plan, discuss the expected outcome of the approach, and how it would foster active participation, critical thinking, and holistic development in children. After the group had prepared the explanation, each presented their finding to the rest of the participants, allowed for further discussion and feedback from both peers and facilitators. The session was led by Dr. Dilip Kumar Singh and Ms. Swati Singh. The session 4 explored the concept of marginalization and inclusive education, focusing on the importance of ensuring equal opportunities for all students, especially those from the marginalized background. Ma'am beautifully highlighted the issues of access, retention, and exclusion pertaining to diverse groups. The session was conducted by Dr. Ranjita Marak and Dr. Praveen Kumar. Session 5 aimed at self-exploration, helping students reflect on their identity and the role of self-analysis, self-awareness in becoming a better educator. The session was conducted by Dr. Viva Singh Patel and Dr. Poonam Srivastava. The valedictory session started with the blessing of our principal, Ma'am Professor Lata Singh. And Dr. Ranjita Marak presented a detailed report on the workshop summarizing the key themes discussed, the outcome of the session. Workshop ended with experience sharing by the resource person and the student. And Professor Jai Singh, Department of Education, concluded the event with a heartfelt vote of thanks. And the session was conducted by Dr. Juhi Rai. So we can see that this 2 days enrichment workshop proved to be an enriching and insightful experience for all participants. Through engaging session, thought-provoking discussion, and the presentation of Krishnamurthy's educational philosophy, the workshop successfully provided a platform for future educators to reflect on their role in shaping society through education. And always remember, inclusive education is not the experiment to be tested, but the value to be followed. Thank you. One.
Thank you, Ranjita ma'am. You well said that this is the value that we are expecting, that our new age teachers will try to live up to these values in their classrooms. In one of the articles in the Times of India, there was a question: who is illiterate in the new age society? In the techno-based society, who is illiterate? Those who can't read or write, or those who can't use the technology? Answer is, who refuses to learn and unlearn is the illiterate of the new age society. So the students, it is very required that you develop a passion for learning from your surrounding, learning whatever opportunity or whatever new interface you get, build a habit of learning new things. You will never cease to grow. So it's time to check your growth in this 2-day workshop, and so it's a time of experience sharing. So I will first like to invite my students in this series, the Pragati Priya from B.Ed Second. She will share her experience of attending the workshop. Pragati, please.
This is Pragati Priya from B.Ed Second Sem. This whole session was very enlightening for me, and also this gave me a fresh vision for my future as an educator. The innovative and creative ideas that we discussed in this workshop, that how to address the issues that many of the educators lack, I will surely try my level best to all those ideas to address all the issues that we will face. And also my personal favorite part was the part where we discussed about the marginalized group and how we should address from their point of view. Also, this also gave me a vision that what kind of teacher I want to be in future, and there should also be an effective engagement with the student, and as a teacher I should be empathetic, along with sympathetic, and should try to understand students from their point of view, not from the management and administration point of view. And also sometimes I have to go out of my way to help the students, because there are some students who feel fear to come to teacher, and so I should be the one who should go to them. So thank you.
In the very first session, Meenakshi ma'am told you that it is the dialogue between the student and the teacher cracks the wonder in the classroom. Okay, so this is the takeaway that I think Pragati has taken. Next is Anu Singh from B.Ed Semester 4.
Good afternoon, respected teachers and my dear friends. My name is Anu Singh and I am here to share my experience of today workshop. First thing, my heart is full of gratitude that I have a mentor with us who have supported to how to teach in classroom, and to not only be a teacher and how to be a friend of the students. The first thing I learned from today's experience is be a friend and make your classroom so amazing that each student should be learned and everyone should be enriched with new ideas. So yesterday the thing that made me so full of thoughts, that is always try to engage your class with new things like music, dance, games, and even the one who is not interested in learning, they will also automatically attach to yourself and start learning new things. So today we learned about how marginalized groups are not educating in remote areas, so how they can be helped by teachers like us, the new teacher which we are going to be. So in remote areas we can start mobile schools, and that will help them to teach, learn, and next thing, inclusive classroom, that is without making any biasness in classroom, without discriminating among students. So this all are very valuable for me, and I will be very acknowledge this in goal of my life of teaching. Thank you.
Of course, integrating arts, sports, and using interdisciplinary approach makes the classroom more engaging, and that's a takeaway that we took child-centered education, and the session that marginalization impacted you. Very nicely, well said, Anu. Next is Priya Kumari from B.Ed Semester 4.
सबसे पहले मैं मीनाक्षी मैम, प्रिंसिपल मैम और सारे हमारे टीचर्स का धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करना चाहूँगी। इस वर्कशॉप के दौरान जो चीज़ें मुझे सीखने को मिली उन्हें शब्दों में बयान करना तो थोड़ा मुश्किल है, क्योंकि इतनी सारी चीज़ें मुझे सीखने को मिली है। तो सबसे ज़्यादा जिस चीज़ ने जिस सीखने को जो इन्फ्लुएंस किया वो है सेल्फ अवेयरनेस। जो मैम ने बताया कि जब तक हम अपने आप को नहीं जान पाएंगे तब तक हम बच्चों को नहीं समझ सकते। तो कृष्णमूर्ति से कि अगर आप किसी चीज़ को देखते हो और उसको अगर आप वर्ड्स में कन्फाइन करने की कोशिश करोगे, वर्ड्स में समेटने की कोशिश करोगे, तो आप उसको उतनी गहराई से नहीं समझ सकते जितना कि अगर आप किसी नई चीज़ को देखते हो। नई चीज़ को देखने से आपको उस चीज़ को गहराई से समझने का अवसर प्रदान होता है। और आप उसे अच्छे से समझ सकते हो। इसीलिए अपने देखने के पर्सपेक्टिव को, अपने देखने के नज़रिए को चेंज करना है और अपने अंदर के विश्वास को जगाना है कि हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं। और सेल्फ अवेयरनेस से हमें सेल्फ अवेयर होके हमें बच्चों को आगे बढ़ चढ़कर उन्हें अच्छा सीख देने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए। तो थैंक यू मैम, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस इतना ही था। थैंक यू सो मच।
Next is our heartfelt gratitude to my education Professor Meenakshi ma'am and Principal ma'am for giving us this opportunity to encourage us to be a good teacher, us with new experimental attitudes towards teaching. In the first we have learned that why are we being educated? Education is not just a criteria to develop in a particular field. It is just a thing, a way by which you can become better people. You should not be limited कि ना I have to be excel in this field और मुझे अच्छा पैसा कमाना है. It should not be limited to that. What I liked yesterday workshop that there was a slum area and the children over there, they have started their own journal of Baliknama. आपको कोई भी तकलीफ होता है, यू स्टार्ट कंप्लेनिंग कि नहीं मेरी आवाज़ किसी तक पहुंच ही नहीं पा रही है, आई हैव नो वन टू सपोर्ट मी, या फिर कि जो मेरे बिहाफ पे स्टैंड लेकर मेरी बातों को सरकार तक पहुंचाएगा. सो दे हैव स्टार्टेड देयर ओन जर्नल एंड दे आर शेयरिंग व्हाट दे आर गेटिंग प्रॉब्लम्स इन देयर एरिया. तो वो मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आया कि हाँ आप अपने डेस्टिनी के खुद मेकर हो सकते हैं. दूसरा जो आज के में था, आज के वर्कशॉप में, कि सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन एंड यू हैव टू बी कल्चरली रिस्पॉन्सिबल इन योर टीचिंग. सो व्हाट इज योर पर्सनालिटी? सबसे पहले कि आपका जो पर्सनालिटी है वो रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा आपकी टीचिंग में. तो इफ यू आर गोइंग इन अ क्लासरूम विद हैप्पी फेस एंड पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड, योर स्टूडेंट्स विल लर्न मोर and engage more actively in your classroom. So what you have to become what you are will reflect in your students in your classroom. So that's all that I have learned. I haven't made it, but that is not that is not at all कि मैं उन्हें words में confine करके मैं बता पाऊँ. I am very very grateful to you. So thank you.
Being a teacher, wherever you are posted, but I personally feel that community mobilization, so it is very necessary to understand the various institutions that are working in the society as a teacher. Only then you can arrange such kind of activities in the name of approaching the community work and all that. So the Baliknama was a perfect example of a community work that can be sponsored by anyone. There is no need of support of any government organization. So wherever a wish, there is the way. That is the message I can tell you. When you will go to a very structured environment of working in a school, you will not find whatever we have been preaching you. Internship you have already experienced what kind of school structures are there. But I always say, be a change maker. Not only to the whole school, but at least in your classroom in your subject. So with this note, I have the privilege of requesting our esteemed speaker for different sessions to kindly share her thoughts and experience of spending quality time with my students and simultaneously with us. Ma'am, I can offer you the mic over there if you want.
जैसे आप So I don't know where to go. First of all, thank Dr. Alka Singh, who was so kind enough to have me here. Today I was asked when I was going for lunch. So you had meetings, so you came here and then you did this workshop also. So I said no, I came for the workshop and it so happened the meetings were taking place, so I attended the meetings. But when I was in my room, I was also preparing all the time how I'm going to conduct the workshop and how can I be with you all. So my main motive for coming here is to be with you all, and I want to say that I have learned so much from you while being with you. And I'd like to share a few things. First, thanking all the teachers, Professor Asha Pandey, G.V. Rai, Dr. G. Rai, Dr. Ranjit Rai, and all of you for being so helpful in helping me conduct this workshop. I could not have done it without their help. You know, they were doing the hard work of really working on the video and clicking all the time and helping me to transact the PowerPoint.
But I want to say what I have in mind and what I feel I've achieved. Krishnamurti, we read in these books which are quite difficult for us to connect to our everyday classroom life. When you are reading Krishna ji, it seems बहुत मुश्किल है समझना किस तरह से हम क्लासरूम में ये सब आइडियाज लेके जाएं, because it seems remote, because he talks in a way which is not what we are used to in the classroom setting. So my effort was to bring that into the classroom setting. So I hope I was able to achieve that. I think to a large extent because you all interacted so much, you shared your difficulties, your experiences, everything so openly with me, I felt that you had understood. Am I right? Huh? And therefore I felt very happy. I felt I had achieved what I came here to do. And I hope that when you go out into the world and you start your teaching, you don't forget these things. You are very lucky to have come to an institution like this. Because not only is this institution, Dr. Alka Singh is running in a way which is so open, inviting different participants, inviting different speakers. I heard yesterday there were 2 other programs and there were a lot of speakers who had come. So that makes the life here very enriching. Plus you are lucky because you have all these teachers who have taught you so many things, because you are able to tell me कि हमने ये activity करी, इस तरह से हमने students को involve किया, इस तरह से gender inclusiveness करी. That all shows that you have got great teachers. So you should be grateful for that. And now when you go out, carry all that spirit with you which you have got from this college and keep in touch. I am sure you have an alumni network. Stay in touch, come regularly to college to meet your teachers and pay your respects to the place which has given you so much. Okay? Thank you so much for having me here and hosting me. Thank you.
We enjoyed a lot, and of course it also, as a teacher, we also noted many things that we will be using in our classrooms. One takeaway is of course I used to keep having a good conversation with my students, but the way you yesterday discovered the journey of a dialogue, that now my journey of a dialogue with my students will change. That is the takeaway that I had taken from your sessions. As we here approach the conclusion of this wonderful journey of learning and growth, I request Professor Jai Singh sir to express heartfelt gratitude through his vote of thanks.
Thanks देना
सबसे पहले तो हम जूही मैम को ही थैंक्स करना चाहेंगे कि उन्होंने मुझे याद किया है। आप मेरे स्टूडेंट हैं और 1-2 साल पढ़ाने पर भी अभी जज्बात अंदर रहते हैं। चलिए है, I, Professor Jai Singh, feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. First of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making this event a resounding success. I convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to Professor Meenakshi Thapar ma'am, who spent more than 2 days with us. Ma'am has enriched our students and faculties with the philosophy of a great educationist and the founder of our esteemed college, J. Krishnamurti. His thoughts on education and teaching learning strategies recommended for by him, which are now the core of the national education policy. Ma'am, your thoughts and teaching strategies are holistic and self-development in context of the individual differences among students will really help our prospective teachers. My special thanks to our beloved principal, Professor Alka Singh ma'am, for her help and kind support at each stage, and thank you ma'am for your role as a catalyst that stimulated us to do our best. I would also like to thank our faculties and the students of the Department of Education for their participation in this workshop. Without their presence and active participation and enriched discussions, it was not possible to ensure the effectiveness of the workshop. Last but not least, I also thank to the technical staff and others who are directly or indirectly involved in conduction and organization of this workshop. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we have come to the end of the valedictory session. Wishing you all success and hoping that the knowledge gained here will pave the way for future achievements and joyful classroom learning in Indian settings. Good luck. Thank you.